Hi, I've been talking a lot recently about the book of Matthew, especially Matthew 23. Actually, so much of Matthew. It's one of the, out of the Gospels, it is the one that portrays Jesus in the harshest light, I think. Much of it has to do with how things were translated and brought over from the Aramaic into the Greek. And a lot was lost in translation there because Aramaic is such a feeling language, and there's so many nuances that are lost when you translate. And in Jesus's day, he was very much desiring to bring people into their own light and love. It was much about showing people their individual connection with the oneness that is within that fingerprint that is so different from everyone else's. Your light and love is not like anyone else's. That's why we come here with our individuality to bring what we came to bring, not what anyone else could bring. And Jesus was explaining that to the people over and over again. But in Matthew 23, he specifically was engaging with the religious people of the time, the hierarchy. In that time, like today, many of the religious structures were inclined towards behavior modification and outward appearances. So it was a lot about what you gave and how you behaved, and you were judged based on, your appearances, the way you performed. Today, it's sort of the same. People are always worried about who you're having sex with, or whether you're drinking or doing drugs and things like that. But Jesus wasn't here to change your behavior. Jesus was here to help you align with your inner purpose. Yes, your behavior changes because of that, but he wasn't into behavior modification or judging people for their behavior. He specifically said he did not come to judge the world, but to save it. And Matthew 23 is beautiful when you look at it from the Semitic viewpoint, the way Jesus was raised and what he would have thought, and also in the Aramaic language, which was beautiful and feeling and lovely. And I have taken the words and retranslated it. I'm not a linguist, but I just took the beautiful technology we have today, all the resources that you can look up online, or books that you can read having to do with the Aramaic and the Semitic way of thinking, and I rewrote it. You can do this yourself. I'm leaving all of the resources below, so you don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up and see what Jesus was really saying back when he was here, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to read it to you. These are the authorized readers of what Moses passed down. So you can listen to what they say, but don't do what they do, because they base worthiness on behavior and then behave any way they choose, unless people are looking. They aren't your teachers. You have one teacher, and that is the living God within, because the kingdom of heaven is within. There is one true source, and you are all siblings, equal within that source. You can receive wisdom from anyone, but don't mistake earthly position for godly authority. Don't outsource your connection to God, and don't be the source for others, because you are not their source. To the religious leaders, he says, my heart breaks for those who claim to be source but are wearing a mask. You're leading the people to believe that you are their source when their source is within. You don't realize your connection to all that is either, so none of you can connect to the true God within. My heart breaks for you who wear masks, because you try to connect people to come into your perception of things, and they move further from knowing the truth that lies within, the truth you still have not embraced. My heart breaks because you cannot see, but you try to lead. You are focused on the performance of the individual rather than the innate beauty of the being. I cry for you because you can't see that you have mistaken earthly value for sacredness and the expression for the essence. Divine presence sanctifies, not gold, not an offering. I cry for you because you've meticulously managed details, but you're missing the heart that gives those details meaning. You think, if I just do everything precisely right, I will be aligned with God, but God is relational. God wants your heart. You're looking at the tiny details, but missing something massive without noticing. Nothing on the outside matters. None of your actions matter if your hearts aren't aligned. And when you are aligned with your soul purpose, your inner purpose, which is light and love, then your actions will be aligned. You've been taught to polish the surface while neglecting the inside. You're trying so hard to be clean, but the system you're following is only working on the outside. The kingdom is within, so focus there. My heart aches when I see that you feel separate and wear a mask. On the outside, it looks as if you are alive, but you are not paying any attention to the life that flows from within. You are divided within because you've closed yourself off to God and pretend to be aligned. Oh, beloved ones, you who guide others, you've learned to honor truth once it's safe and no longer challenges you. But when truth stands before you alive, you resist. Can you see the pattern? You walk the same road now that you say you would have avoided. It leads to ruin unless you choose differently now. The path you're on leads to more of the same. You're passing it on and multiplying it. You're walking into destruction and creating it in each moment. You walk in the ways of old. You can't change that unless you choose differently now. I love you. I long to hold you and protect you and save you. You will treat me as those who came before you treated the prophets of their time. So beautiful, so loving, so heartfelt. His passionate cry that people turn within and find the light that lives in each individual being. It's such a different flavor from what we read in the translations we have today. But I really encourage you to look into finding out what Jesus was really saying, not what was passed down through the generations. I hope you will.